Hi Year 10, today is the first of our demonstration lessons. This demonstration has been pre-recorded so that you can watch it in your own time and make the product if you choose, or if you want to, you can cook along today. Just a quick sort of update on what we're doing and why we're doing it. So over the last couple of lessons, we've been looking at the controversy around the school meal packages. We said that school meals students are allocated £15 per week, and the government sort of tasked a company to produce meal packs or lists of products that were sent out to children to help them have healthy, nutritious, balanced meals during the lockdown process. And it was discovered that these companies weren't producing anything that was nutritious, and also they were not giving them £15 worth of food. So what you've been doing over the last couple of lessons is you've been producing a list of products that could go into one of these school meal packages and does cost £15, and then you've been suggesting possible recipes that could be made with the ingredients that you've put in that package or on your shopping list. One of the recipes that people suggested as being suitable for sort of a school lunch was a pizza. I'm going to demonstrate a scone-based pizza today, because obviously we've only got 50 minutes lessons, so making a bread-based pizza would take too long. What I have done though is I have put the bread-based pizza recipe on today's PowerPoint, so if anybody wants to have a look at that and have a go at making that, then that's there for you as well. Right, we'll get started. So hopefully you'll be able to cook along if you want to. The ingredients have been shared on the PowerPoint, and I'll quickly go over what the ingredients or the basic ingredients in today's recipe are. So for the base, you need self-raising flour, you need margarine and milk. That's it. So you don't need any other ingredients for the base. And then it's whatever ingredients you want to put onto the recipe. So to start off with, we need to preheat our oven. So I've preheated the oven at 200 degrees, which is gas mark 5. So that would be your first job. You also need to make sure you've got a baking tray to be able to cook your product on. So as you've seen, I've just moved my baking tray to one side. I've put greaseproof paper on that. If you've not got greaseproof paper, you can just put a bit of oil or a bit of margarine on it just to stop the product from sticking. Okay, so first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some of the ingredients that I've got that you could put on for toppings. So on this tray here, and I'll just fetch it for you just so that you can see what I've got. I'll go over some of the topping ingredients that I've just pulled out of my cupboard. So, in terms of toppings, it can be whatever you want. You might want a barbecue flavour pizza, you might want a curry flavoured one, you might want a sweet chilli flavoured one. So whatever kind of sauce you've got, you can put onto this. So traditional sauces include things like passata or tomato puree. You might have got some pasta sauce. You might have got some pesto, so any of those things, or like I mentioned, just actual tomato ketchup or a chilli sauce or something like that, you can go on as your sauce. I've then got some cheese. I'm not going to be using all of this, but just a small amount of it to go onto my pizza, and then other ingredients that you might have got in your cupboard. If we were thinking about the shopping list, then we might have put something like tin tuna on there, we might have put some sweet corn, mushrooms, we might have even put pineapple on there. If we have, then some of these ingredients we would have leftovers of, and therefore be able to use to make other things. So if we'd got half an onion left, that might go into a soup, or if we'd got some pineapples left, that might go into making a pineapple upside down pudding that we could serve as part of a dessert. So there's loads and loads of different things that we could do with the leftovers with this product as well. Right, so whatever flavourings you've got, you can use for your toppings. So to start off with, then I'm going to make the base ingredients. So self-raising flour, and I need 150 grams of that. Okay, so got my weighing scales. and I'm going to weigh out 150 grams of self-raising flour. We're not going to faff about sieving anything because we haven't really got time to do that. So we're going to have 150 grams of self-raising flour. That's it. And then 40 grams of margarine. I'm just going to pop in. The process that we've combined these together with is the rubbing in technique, right? So it should only take a few minutes because you've only got a small amount of margarine. Okay, so 40 grams is not a lot. So already we're seeing that this is actually quite a low fat product. So you're not having lots and lots of fat in there. When you are rubbing in, you're just chopping your margarine and then using your fingertips and thumbs to rub in. Okay, so if you are needing to collect anything, you can stop this video obviously and then you can start it again once you've got whatever it is that you need. So now I've chopped it up a little bit, I am just lifting, rubbing and squeezing to get rid of the margarine. Okay, so I'm looking for that breadcrumb-like texture. If we were looking at this product being nutritious and balanced and meeting the school meals plan, it is based on a carbohydrate. So advice is that we should base our meals around starchy carbohydrates. The base is that, and because it's a homemade base, it's not got all that fat in, it's not greasy. We've added margarine in, and by adding margarine in, you are adding in vitamin D, because all margarine has got vitamin D added into it. And what vitamin D does is it helps with the absorption of calcium, and calcium is what we need for strong bones and teeth. Again, calcium is really important for school-aged children because they need to build up their bones and teeth. So I've rubbed that in and it's a breadcrumb-like texture. We've not got any big lumps. The way that you check to see if you've got big lumps is shake your bowl. So you've done all this before as part of making pastry, etc. Next job is going to be to add in some milk. So we need approximately 100 millilitres of milk. But if you've not got a measuring jug or anything like that, if you just add it in gradually until it sticks together, then that's another way in which you can do it. Right, so I'm just adding a little bit at a time to stick it together. What you could do to improve the nutritional content of this further is use wholemeal flour. If you wanted to improve the flavour, you could add some cheese into your base. You could add some herbs into it, you could add some spices into it so that it changes the flavour slightly. You could even do a bit of a stuffed crust with this one because it is quite a soft base that you're able to sort of manipulate a little bit. As you can see, I've not kneaded all of the liquid, so it is really important that you do add it gradually. Right, so I'm just gently bringing this mixture together now so that we have got the sort of base. Base is now done. That's it, quick as that. So you don't need to do any kneading or proving or anything like that, which is why we've done the scone base today and not done the bread base. If we were doing the bread base, there'd be 10 minutes worth of kneading now and then 20 minutes worth of proving or letting it rise. So we've not got time for that in today's session. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to gently press out the dough and then pop it onto my baking tray. Again, to make it quicker for making sure that we've got it done within the time, I'm going to do a couple of small ones. Okay, so all I'm doing is, I don't need a rolling pin or anything like that, I'm just going to press out the dough. And then I can use a cutter if I want to, or I could just divide the dough into two and press it out into two circles. So whichever way and whatever you've got, you can do it like that. So I'll do it without the cutter just so I can show you that it's easily done without the cutter. And all you can do is you just shape and mould your pizza base until you've got it sort of the size and shape that you want it, and then you can pop it onto your baking tray. Okay, so I'm going to stick these on here. That's my first one. Then I'll do my second one. and then we can prepare any toppings that are going to go onto it. So that's that done. Right, so I'll just pop those to one side now. Obviously, you can wash your hands in between, but I don't want to be nipping off and back on, etc. So, next thing is whatever sauce you want to put onto it. So like I've said, I've got some examples of different sauces that you could use that you might have got in your cupboard already. If, say, for example, on the shopping list for the school dinners there was a pack of passata or some tomato puree, then that can be used in other products as well, as can things like pesto and a pasta sauce. So if you've got sort of products that do more than one job, then that does help to make sure that you can have a variety of different products. Could even just be a tin of tomatoes, tin of chopped tomatoes that you could put onto it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the pasta sauce. The reason I'm going to use that is because it's already open and it saves me opening anything else. So I'm using up leftovers as well. Okay, so when you put in your toppings onto it, particularly your sauce, because these sauces tend to have got sugar in them, and that might be just natural sugar or it might be some added sugar, then they can burn if you spread them right to the edge. So don't spread it right to the edge. So just put a little bit of your sauce on, and then I'll just tip it up so you can see it in a minute, because I know that the greaseproof paper's in the way there. Right, so I've just popped my tomato pasta sauce on, because like I said, I'm using up leftovers. Don't want it all to be new stuff. So I've just got my toppings on there. So next job is then going to be putting any flavourings on. So next bit, what I'm going to put on. So obviously I'm going to put cheese on. I'm just putting some cheese on that I've got in the fridge already. You might have got some mozzarella, or you might have got some different cheeses that you might have got left over from Christmas, so you could put those on. So it might be that you crumble them up, or you slice them, or you grate them, whatever you can do. I'm going to grate mine, so I just need to open up my cheese. In terms of the amount of cheese that you use, the advice in terms of healthy eating is that we should only have a matchbox size amount of cheese per person per week, right? Which is sort of that kind of size, right? So that would be a portion of cheese per week for a person, right? So grating it does actually make it go a little bit further. The reason that there is sort of a limited amount of cheese that we're supposed to have is because it is high in saturated fats. However, because we are looking at school-aged children, it's actually something that we've already said is important for them to have because of the amount of calcium and maintaining and growing strong bones and teeth. So I've got my cheese on there, and I've probably grated a little bit too much, so because mine's in one of those grater pots, I can just stick a bit of oil on top of it and save it, and then I could make sandwiches with that the day after. So it's about making sure that you're using up leftovers when you're doing things like this. So cheese goes on. Try not to put too much on because I don't want it to spill over and stick to my baking tray, etc. So I've got my cheese on top, and then like I said, I've got quite a bit of cheese left, so I can use that in a cheese sandwich, save me grating it a little bit later, and then I can decide what other toppings I want to put on. So I've actually got a bit of chorizo spare here, so a bit of Spanish sausage. I could chop a little bit of that and put it on, and that'd also be good in things like a pasta bake. I've got some red onion, I've got a red pepper, I've got some mushrooms, and I've got a tin of sweet corn. So again, tin of sweet corn, I could open it up, use a little bit of it, and then save the rest for a tuna and sweet corn pasta bake, or in something else. So I'm going to open and drain the sweet corn, stick a bit of that on, and then I can put this into a container and save it in the fridge. That's it, that's drained. So I'll just put a little bit of that onto them and then save the rest. And then I'll put a few red peppers on. So it's only using a small amount of ingredients, but it's contributing towards your 5 a day. What you might try to do, depending on what ingredients you've got, is try to make it as balanced as possible. So you could be putting vegetables on there, you could put a bit of protein on in the form of either ham or tuna, or we've got cheese on, so that is protein anyway. And then I'm going to chop a little bit of red pepper. So I've got the sweet corn on there, and then final bit is I've already washed my red pepper, so I'm just going to slice just a little bit of that. Again, I can save that to do something else with. And then I'm just going to slice it and dice it, and then that can go onto the pizza as well. Once I've done that, it's going to go into the oven, and because I've done smaller ones, it shouldn't take too long to cook. So I can then get them out and show you what they look like. So I'm going to dice that and pop that on. So I don't actually need all of that even. That's going to go on now. A little bit of pepper on there. And put it all on so that there's plenty of vegetables. And then there you go, and then that can go into the oven. If you were doing it for children, you might want to make a smiley face on there, so it encourages them to have more fruit and vegetables, etc. But actually, that's it. It's quick, simple, something that can be pre-prepared before lunchtime. So you might have made it and just put some foil over it and then stick it in the oven at lunchtime. The dough could have been made beforehand, and then you could get children involved in actually making it as part of the online learning process, or the sort of lockdown learning. So there's loads and loads of different things that you could do with it.